So hello again from Germany, and I hope you've had a great event so far. As per my previous announcement, I'm also pleased to share some details about our Siemens experience, the Siemens journey which we've had on process mining, but also about a variety of different use cases, which hopefully will give you some good ideas how to use this powerful technology in your own environment. So let's have a look, first of all, into the Siemens experience. And let me share my screen so that we can go through the slides. And I want to talk about principles, use cases, and outlook. And I want to talk about how process mining has enabled the Siemens company to empower procurement with millions of purchase orders, to empower logistics with 50 million logistic items delivered every year, to empower finance, to have better transparency about the payment transactions, but also about sales, where we receive millions of custom orders. And this is, as a kind of setting the stage, the idea that process mining can help you across the whole value chain in any business process. So let's start with a statement here from our CEO, Joe Kaeser, who made a very clear statement saying that complexity, there is hardly any other topic which bothers and frustrates him as much as this. And complexity is a pain, is a continuous pain. And probably when Joe Kaeser, CEO, thinks about complexity, he talks about global complexity and challenges, about environment challenges and complexity. So things which maybe process mining cannot so much help with, but where we can and where we do help in respect of the challenge of complexity is along the value chain, coming from purchase to pay, to make to deliver, to order to cash. So from procurement, manufacturing through to custom orders. And if you look at this kind of value chain, you find a range of challenges which the process owners in any big company do face. Challenges and questions such as, which supplier causes high manual effort? Where are deviations from payment terms? You might have defined payment terms, but then you'll find the order confirmation always shows different payment terms and you have their issues. Did you always pay on time to save cash discounts? Which supplier delivers on time and which supplier keeps delivering too late for your just-in-time manufacturing, for example? What are root causes for late deliveries to your customers? And how can you detect those causes? Have you optimized your inventory and working capital by making sure that you only order goods when you need them and don't have too much stock which has high capital costs? Which activities should be automated, for example, with robotic process automation to make it faster and smoother and easier? And how can I drive digital transformation across any business process? And so you see there's a whole range of different typical operational questions which people as process owners do have, going from procurement, manufacturing, logistics through to customers, customer deliveries. And this is actually where process mining has been of immense value to us at Siemens. Now, let's have a look into what process mining actually is and how process mining works. So process mining, if you look into Wikipedia, is a process management technique that allows for the analysis of business processes based on event logs. And that is a big difference, that here you look into actual event logs as they are stored in any digital system, being ERP system, a CRM system, a manufacturing system. All those systems contain event logs. And what we do with process mining is that we visualize the actual process flows as they happen. Now you might say process management is nothing new. We've been modeling processes for quite a long time. There's been business process management where you define a happy path, which you can see here as the way processes should be happening. But the interesting thing with process mining is that you get full transparency as processes actually happen. So it's not like only as they should happen, but the way they happen in reality. And this is the value, to see what is causing effort and friction in reality. And this is actually the aim of process mining, to detect those root causes for process inefficiencies and then to remediate these. So you might compare process mining like an X-ray for business. If you look in the medical environment, X-ray has been around for more than 100 years, allowing a doctor to make a diagnosis, to analyze, and then to remediate. So to identify the root cause for a certain disease and define a therapy to remediate the disease due to the insight which has been gained with the X-ray. Now, process mining is very similar. In process mining, what we do is we do apply this X-ray to the business process so that we have full transparency about how the process is actually happening. And based on this insight, then the respective process owner, like supply chain, finance, shared service, they can take remediative action. They can see, based on the actual event logs and the actual process flows and the actual delays, where they should change their process, where they should automate, or where they should take other measures to make the process flow more efficient. So based on the experience which we've gained with process mining, there are 3 P's which are essential, and 3 what I'd call success factors for process mining. The first point is the purpose, and this is something which we learned by heart in the beginning. We went around and said, hey, this is such an exciting technology to have this X-ray of business processes, and people were all excited, saying, wow, this is amazing. This transparency which you can show there with the actual process flows. People were very excited, but we felt it doesn't really bring impact. It doesn't really get value for the company. And then we recognized we didn't specify the purpose as the first step, to specify saying, what exactly is the pain point? What exactly is the disease? So what shall be improved? And that's a key learning, that you have to come from a challenge in a business process. You have to ask the process owner saying, what's your pain point in finance? Do you want to improve your payment terms? Do you want to improve your working capital? Do you want to improve your customer satisfaction by delivering on time? But this purpose, that is an essential part to specify right at the beginning, and to specify what exactly shall be achieved. So once you have this X-ray image, what measures will be taken to create business value? And that needs to be specified clearly in this purpose part. Second part, very important, are the people. And the reason I'm saying that is that you need to get the right people on board, those change agents who are keen to drive digital transformation, who are keen to make a change, to make a difference. And our experience has been that not everybody is keen on transparency. There are quite a lot of people who have been in charge of a certain process for decades and who are reluctant to use insight and drive change. So they say, well, I've done my process for 10 years. Now, what should be wrong? And maybe they're also scared about getting new insights. So getting the people, the right people on board is definitely a key success factor here, to have the right drivers for change. And third, last but not least, the process traces. And obviously, I made this word up to have a third P. It's about getting the event logs, finding the right event logs. And that's important to have those traces and to get the event logs easily, and to be able to replicate the event logs from the respective backend source systems, like an SAP system where you have all your financial transactions, to get these event logs and prepare those event logs to show a a good sequence of activities, and thus being able to identify the full picture of process mining. Now, with so much theory, let me just look into a practical case here and a specific use case sample. One use case sample which we applied at Siemens. We said we need to look into our order to cash process. And the order to cash process, which we wanted to drive with digital transformation and improve with digital transformation, this order to cash process in a company like Siemens is quite a complex process. So when we look at the order to cash, it starts obviously with the customer order entry, then availability check, order confirmation, and so on. And there are more than 60 different process steps a single customer order can take till we as a company have our cash collection, so till we get our money. Now imagine in a global organization like Siemens, you have more than 30 million items ordered every year. And those 30 million items, and we're very grateful for these orders, obviously, but these 30 million items need to be processed through our organization in multiple different processes. And again, here, process modeling would just say this is the way how the process is supposed to happen. Process mining gives you the full picture. So process mining shows you the full complexity with every single process step based on the event logs, and also with the times it takes for processing the single steps or an overall order. So the first transparency and insight which we gained here was the clarity that we have more than 300 million single activities happening every year in our company to process our customer orders. And we counted more than 900,000 process variants, how the customer orders are processed through the organization. 900,000. And this is not good or bad. This is purely a fact-based X-ray where you get transparency saying, okay, that's the way it is. That's how our organization works today, which already is a great asset since you have full transparency, fact-based transparency about how these orders are going through the organization. Now that's what I call insight. The interesting part starts when you take action to improve the order to cash process. So what we did is we set up a program headed by our CFO, who gave the strategic direction to digitize the order management process. And as a CFO, obviously, you're working on a very high level, and you have to define very easy KPIs, which you can track easily and thus manage the organization. So what we did is that we defined a digital fit rate for every single unit. Now, digital fit rate simply indicates how often a customer order is touched manually on average. So if a unit on average has 50 manual touches for 100 customer orders, they would have a digital fit rate of 0.5. If another unit has 100 manual touches on 100 customer orders on average, they would have a digital fit rate of 1. In this respect, we assign every country and every unit with a dedicated digital fit rate to start with. And we also defined KPIs for automation. What is the automation rate? So how many automated activities would they have? And also a rework rate. So how many activities needed to be reworked since a customer order changed the price or quantity and this order needed to be touched again. So very simple, 3 simple KPIs, which were easy to measure across the organization. Then what we did is we said, okay, there's a clear direction from the CFO, and the regional management was invited for regular performance reviews based on the management reporting. So we built a hit list here saying, what is the digital fit rate for countries? Like we had Netherlands, very, very efficient with a digital fit rate of 0.48. We had Sweden, Germany, and so on. So every country got its individual digital fit rate, automation rate, and rework rate. And also those rates were given as targets to the responsible process owners as personal incentivated targets, so that they have a higher motivation to look into these KPIs and improve the KPIs. And then what we did is also that the operational management, so the people who are handling the customer orders, the clerks, they got all the detailed insight. So they could see in the system with a daily update, they could see the actual process automation, the rework rate. They could also see every single order. So they could, in the tool, they were able to identify those customer orders, which caused a lot of effort, since the customer kept changing the delivery date or the order price. And thus the people were able to call those customers, speak with those customers saying, please customer, wouldn't you mind to place the order via our electronic portal and have less changes, since this caused effort on our organization. So with that, we had a single source of truth, which was used by the CFO, the regional management, as well as the operational users. And at the end of the project, after 1 year, we achieved quite tremendous successes here, as you can see. So this is a presentation which was given at the Gartner IT Expo 2018, where our order to cash was showcased with 24% higher automation rate, 11% reduction in rework, and 10 million fewer manual touches per year. So we saved overall 10 million manual touches on a global scale by automating processes, by applying batch processing, and by process redesign. So quite a significant impact on driving the digitization of our order to cash process. Sorry for that. So what is a key learning if you want to now apply process mining, and what are the important factors here? The one part which we learned, which is very important, is to have a powerful community established. And the way we did it here, and as I said, it's all about the people. The way we did it is that we established a very close community between business and IT. So we built a COE, Center of Excellence in IT, where we manage the application management, customized rollouts, project rollouts, application operations, and platform operations. In total, we had a team there of people from Germany, Portugal, India, about 30 people, very active and engaged. And some of those people were in charge of single applications, like the order to cash application, and working very closely with respective business people. And I think that's a key success factor here, to assign passionate people on IT and business who both work towards the same target of digitization or improving the respective process. So we had those twins from business and IT who had a joint target, both in charge of the application, and the IT guy managing a team to deliver the application and enhance the application, and the business guy being in charge of understanding the demand from his community and promoting the application in his community. And in this form, we built quite a powerful organization and community which delivered valuable process mining insights to more than 6,000 active users around the world. Now let's have a look at a range of different use cases here. And this is where I lead over to my book, Process Mining in Action, where I have had the luck that 12 practitioners have described their individual use cases on 10 to 15 pages each. And in here you will find use cases like the Siemens order to cash, which we spoke about, but also use cases from Uber, which you might know, where Uber had the challenge of processing high process variations with long handling times and bad customer experiences. So basically what they looked at is the customer complaint process when a customer had a ride with the Uber car And then there were some kind of complaint reasons. And with the steep, fast growth of Uber, this was very diverse around the world. And what they did with process mining, they analyzed the way these processes are being handled, and then they streamlined and optimized the processes. BMW brought process mining to the production process. And what BMW did is that they applied process mining in a manufacturing environment where they looked into a paint shop where the chassis are going through different stations. And then they measured the throughput time. They measured which type of chassis would require rework or take very long. And based on that, they were able to optimize their manufacturing process with new transparency from process mining. Siemens purchase to pay. Looking into the purchase to pay process, identify weaknesses, and improve the process and reduce the processing time for sending out and processing purchase orders. Athena Health, interesting case in the health environment, where they had a challenge of optimizing and scaling millions of healthcare administration transactions. So here they needed to optimize or get transparency first about those millions of customer inquiries and customer interactions and see how to streamline these. EDP, the Portuguese energy company, which wanted to have new ways of working with processes and understand how their process actually performed. They never had really the full base transparency on the actual process performance. Then Telecom, looking into the shared service center where they wanted to optimize the end-to-end purchase to pay process. Bayer, interesting use case, where Bayer describes the audit process. So again, a totally different field where Bayer wanted to digitize their auditing by having fact-based, event log-based auditing in all the divisions and units. Since before they had to struggle, they had to look for the data and collect data, and they didn't really know where they have all the data. With process mining, they get the full audit picture based on what is really happening in the respective entity. Healthineers using process mining to understand their CT devices better and get feedback from usage and customers about the CT devices. So in product management, they are using process mining to get faster, better feedback from product usage. Schuckert, which is a mid-sized distribution company of electronic components. Schuckert use process mining since for them it's fundamental to have digital processes throughout the whole organization to, as a retailer, to be as efficient as possible. And they use process mining on a strategic level to understand their overall corporate performance and digitize many, many processes, and specifically the return time to customer inquiries. Bosch, using process mining as a component to optimize and improve corporate processes. So again, here using it for performance measuring and process enhancements. And last but not least, ABB, using it for performance indicators, customer cost and cash. And the message here is that process mining is a technology which can be used virtually for any business process along the whole value chain. Key fact is that you need to have the event logs and a purpose. And if those two exist in the right people, then you can address any process challenge in an organization by using process mining technology. So let's have a look at the impact. Obviously, tangible impact and business value, that is key. And in respect to impact, you can see that at Siemens order to cash, as I said, we had 10 million less manual activities. Uber was able to save $20 million of efficiency gain through reduced handling times, and improved customer satisfaction. BMW were able to visualize production processes and as they really happen, and have a digital twin of their paint shop, and thus foster more agile decisions. Siemens Purchase to Pay was able to reduce the process lead time up to 30 minutes per single order. Athena Health workflow updates, and they achieved a higher customer satisfaction by enabling first-time right. So the first time that a customer had an inquiry, he got the right answer, and this was significantly improved. EDP increased the operational reliability and had a positive impact on climate change by using resources more efficient. Telecom saving 1 million euros in their shared service center. Bayer, they moved their auditing process and their auditing internal control system to a completely new digital level by having digital full transparency for auditing. Healthineers had a strategic advantage and competitive advantage by getting much better understanding about how their CT devices are actually used. Schuckert is the retailer, which was able to reduce the directly delivered orders from 20 to 60%, so a much better and a higher automation rate to respond to customers. Bosch, which implemented process performance indicators for automation, efficiency, speed, and standardization. And ABB, which moved even one step ahead towards simulation, so that they can use now not only descriptive analytics, describing what's happening, but prescriptive analytics, saying what should we do next to have an efficient process. And then here the message is that the value of process mining not only goes across the whole value chain, but also comes in different dimensions. It's not always like people are saying, I measure it in euros, dollars, or Japanese yen, but there are more values which process mining has generated for companies by having customer satisfaction, by faster response times, by having economic impact. So the purpose and the value can have multiple facets. Let's have a look ahead. What is the roadmap? Where are we moving to? And what's coming up with process mining? Since I believe that process mining at this point in time is rather descriptive and allows great insights to understand what's really happening. So this has been a huge achievement. But I also said just this imagination of a fully frictionless company. That's where I think we need to move to. And I sometimes ask myself why today still we do have thousands of people doing mundane manual tasks like rework or stupid other things in processes which could be done by intelligent software. So I believe that this software needs to move on from just allowing people with human intelligence to identify issues towards a artificial intelligence where the software suggests what needs to be done. So I think we're looking into predictive and proactive solutions where the software as a intelligent companion will suggest which order to look at or which delivery to prioritize, and then also take the next step and have that transaction initiated. Then I think usability is still an issue. Usability is a key factor to have a very easy to use interface. And software today, like from Celonis, is a great tool. We've had a great success as people just like it. It's so easy to use, but it, I think, will get even more intuitive and more proactive. The customer journey is a key field which we're going to see. Today, we still have the challenge of the data collection to get the data from a customer journey from multiple systems. Looking into only one system like ERP systems for order to cash, that's okay. But if it comes to visualize the full customer journey from first telephone contact, website contact, and call center and any interaction, and bring those event logs into a logical sequence and flow. I think that's still a challenge, but this will be very interesting to get insight in that and understand where the customer journey can be improved, or where customers are lost since they quit and move on. Then we have the platforms topic, which I believe is a very exciting topic, where we're seeing first samples of having apps based on platforms such as the purchase to pay or order to cash sample from Celonis, where you have standard apps on a platform which are ready to use. And that, I think, is an exciting idea, to say you have standardized use cases which you can just download for your company, plug in the data, and then use it right away. And those use cases, those apps are obviously best practice, where a lot of experience has gone in there, and you don't have to build your own reports. IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things, I think is another exciting field, where we will see that that we will have devices connected to an IIoT platform, and then apply standard use cases. For example, at Siemens, we're working with MindSphere, where we collect lots of data from Simatic or Sinumeric devices. And the idea here will be to gather this data and then to have, again, a standard app which visualizes the actual process flows based on the data coming from those devices, and then on an IIoT platform offer process mining standard solutions. AI, artificial intelligence, a big word, everybody's speaking about that. I think still we need to see where it can create real value, but it will create real value, where we will have this artificial intelligence being able to detect a late delivery, being able to detect a late payment, and then also as a self-learning and optimizing solution, taking the right measures, saying, okay, this based on certain checks will be approved, this payment or this delivery will be initiated. So I think this will be a big impact, to have smart software which takes over more and more mundane tasks. Sustainability revolution. I think the sustainability of evolution is a very exciting field, where we can, with process mining, help one of the biggest challenges of humans to make more conscious usage of our resources. And there has been an exciting use case from Ernst & Young in Japan to track the carbon emission throughout the overall manufacturing process with process mining, and to visualize how, or propose how, carbon emission could be reduced with smarter process steps. So basically take the event logs and associate a certain carbon emission, and with that allow to be more conscious about carbon emission. Then intercompany, I think that's an exciting field, where we will see vertical integration with companies using process mining to optimize cross-company processes. So looking jointly with your supplier into the overall supply chain, and with process mining seeing where you can automate or improve your supply chain efficiency. And all those things are moving towards what I call the digital enabled organization, which in my view is an organization which is relying on smart software, intelligent software, which does a lot of mundane tasks automatically without human direction. Still, the human, they do have a huge place here, since it's not a fully automated anywhere solution, but humans will have a role to play, exception-based, but humans will still be required to look into exceptions and adjustments and improvements which are continuously required. So in that respect, for me, it's the digital enabled organization which I'm seeing on the horizon. With that, if you're now saying, well, let's shoot for the moon and use this technology for our own ambitious targets of digital transformation, get the book, Your Practical Guide. The book is split in 3 parts. The first part describes the fundamentals which I spoke about, how to get started, what is process mining, purpose, people, process traces, challenges, and also some key learnings. The second part describes the 12 use cases written by practitioners, sharing their own experiences, their challenges, their pitfalls, but also their key learnings and outlook. And the third part then is an outlook from the academic side, written by Wolf van der Aals, who is the inventor of process mining, and a outlook from written by me on the business perspective of process mining and what I expect to come. With that, I'd like to conclude my session here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've gained some valuable insight, got a better understanding about process mining, also have some takeaways which you will be able to use in your own organization. For more details, get the book, have a look and at the learnings there. And then I'm looking forward to getting some feedback and hopefully also some future use cases built on the great tradition of Japanese companies to drive process efficiency and to use process mining. With that, thank you very much and have a great day.